Hello and welcome back to Typical City. It's not a bad feeling being a City fan this morning, is it? Feels pretty good. Feels all right. I'm in a very good mood after that performance yesterday from Manchester City. The result more than the performance in truth, because what a season-defining moment that could prove to be. That moment where Oscar Bobb puts it in the back of the net in the 91st minute to snatch all 3 points, fully deserved 3 points, mind you. We could look back at the end of this season and go, that was the moment. And I think on the pitch celebrations after the game was a clear indication of how important the squad, and namely Pep Guardiola, felt that moment was, because he didn't shy away from his celebrations. He's typically getting criticised for celebrating too much, as if we haven't seen Jurgen Klopp and Mikel Arteta not do that in games that aren't anywhere near as big, and moments that aren't anywhere near as big as that City achieved last night against Newcastle at St James's Park, 2-1 down to turn the game round and win it 3-2, you know. Give it a rest. I think that was the one moment where I thought, good, finally, we're celebrating like we should do, because if anything, our past achievements in games like this in previous seasons, we've been a bit understated in our celebrations. And you know why? It's because we're businesslike. We're a machine. The cogs are just turning as expected. That's the way we operate at Manchester City. We just turn up, we do our job, like Roy Keane said, that's his job, mate. That's your job. And that's what Pep thinks. It's our job to win these games. But that was emotion yesterday pouring out onto the football pitch after the final whistle's blown by the referee, and it was fully deserved. It's unbelievable, and I haven't heard a single peep from our Premier League rivals. They've all gone quiet, and that silence is golden. It's a deafening silence, a sweet nothingness coming out of the Arsenal fans and the Liverpool fans' mouth, because they had to sit there, watch it, and almost admit they're bloody good, aren't they? They're absolutely sensational. In particular, one golden-haired player is an unbelievable superstar for this club, and I'll get onto him shortly. But let's have a look at the match stats, which are pretty familiar. I mean, I've been seeing these stats all season, to be honest. In fact, the Everton game before this was very similar. I was only changing the one digit here and there between my previous graphic that was Everton away. And I mean, that was the last game I did on the channel before my illness, but now I'm back, and the stats are there for all to see. We see this every game. But the big two numbers at the top, 2-3, 2 to Newcastle, 3 to Manchester City, those are the numbers that are too close for comfort at times. That is a little bit worrying how we are making the games seem closer than they are. But the numbers underneath those big numbers, the 2 at the top being the ones that really matter, these statistics here are just what we've been seeing it all season. Domination from Manchester City once again. 27% possession for Newcastle to our 73. 12 shots from Newcastle, which is probably one of the most we've conceded this season. So fair play to Newcastle to get that many shots away. Not 27 though, for us. 27 shots. 5 on target for Newcastle, 11 on target for City. Newcastle overachieved. Once again, we go up against a team that scores more than the XG suggests with 1.3 XG. We had 3 bang on the money. 3 big chances for Newcastle, which is surprising. Only 2 big chances for City. 277 passes to our 747. 7 fouls each, a yellow card, and 2 for Manchester City to Newcastle's 1. Now, player ratings. Ederson, out 8 minutes of football. Not much to talk about other than the injury. You're hoping it's not a serious one, because we need him. We absolutely need this guy. And I mean, the issue is the linesman, isn't it? We need to differentiate between what is a clear and obvious offside, stick your flag up to prevent anything from happening after injuries, for example. Get your flag up when it's as obvious as that, because it was about 3 or 4 yards offside. There was no need to allow the play to go, and I get it why you've got to keep your flag down if it's, millimetres. If it's hard to call, fine, keep your flag down, and we have to let whatever happens happen after that. But when it's as clear and obviously offside as that, just stick your flag up, mate. Saves this. We would have Ederson in goal for the rest of however many games he's going to be out for now. You don't know how long it's going to be, but he didn't look good, did he? He was falling over at one point, wasn't he? But 8 minutes played, 5 touches, 75% passing accuracy, 2 out of 2 long balls, which is decent for that 8 minutes he was on the pitch. I can only give him a 6, though, because he's barely played any football. Ortega, on the other hand, he came on, played the other 82 minutes, 31 touches, 68% passing accuracy, 3 big saves, big saves, which is why he's got a 7. I'm still a bit disappointed with his distribution. You can see that with the passing accuracy at 68%. 4 long balls were accurate out of the 12 that he attempted, but there wasn't much other than the 3 big saves that he made, one-on-one with Ake. I think there was one in the second half that he made, which was another big physical presence that he provides in front of his goal. He's hard to beat in one-on-one situations, and I like that. Other than that, there wasn't much traditional goalkeeping for him to do. Distribution is something we need to work on. He can't be as casual as he was in the first half as well, getting caught on the ball with Ake. Needs to eradicate those sort of dilly-dallying moments. But from a traditional goalkeeping point of view, good performance. Shot stopping in particular, those 3 big saves. So 7 out of 10 for Ortega. Kyle Walker got an assist, an incredible one at that's going to go down in history, I think, in terms of that goal, because that's one for the highlight reels for years to come. That'll be used in Premier League advertisement trailers. I guarantee it, because that Bernardo Silva was that flick behind his leg, man, absolutely sensational. Incredible from Bernardo Silva. What a finish that was. But Kyle Walker was the assist. So well done, Kyle Walker, for that. 83 touches, 94% passing accuracy, a key pass, a tackle, 4 out of 6 ground duels won. He wasn't dribbled past once. He attempted 3 dribbles and he completed all 3. Really good from Kyle Walker. There's one major criticism is I do think he needs to close down Anthony Gordon a lot quicker than that. He seemed to he wanted the challenge of try and take me on, try and go round the outside. But the fact that he's done that and still allowed him to cut inside onto the inside, I know what he's trying to do as a defender. You always push them around the outside, and he's just dangling that carrot of space. Like, go on, go down the outside. Let's go around the outside, force him onto his left foot. And he made it so obvious that that's what he wanted to do, yet still Anthony Gordon was able to turn inside onto his right foot, and then Kyle Walker's got to do more other than sticking out a flailing leg like that. It was a hopeful attempt at blocking the shot. He's got to do better in that situation. But from that situation, it was a mistake on the halfway line from Ruben Diaz that caused Kyle Walker to have to backtrack in this situation. Ruben Diaz bringing it down with his chest, and rather than getting his pass away quicker, he took too long on the ball. Ake intercepts, and away goes Anthony Gordon. Kyle Walker wouldn't have had to have defended that situation as poorly as he did defend that situation. That situation wouldn't exist in time had Ruben Diaz not made the mistake that he made. So I do think it was a good performance other than that one moment, but that one moment combination of poor defending from Ruben Diaz and Kyle Walker's cost us a goal again. So mistakes, got to eradicate these, but 7 out of 10 for Kyle Walker. The other man in the subject was Ruben Diaz, who I thought was decent outside of that one moment. 90 minutes played, 96 touches, 92% passing accuracy, some good defensive numbers there. 1 tackle, 5 clearances, which is good. 2 out of 2 ground duels won. And 1 out of 3 aerial duels won, and 2 block shots, a typical Ruben Diaz performance that was tarnished a little bit by that mistake on the halfway line. But other than that, not that much defending to do in truth, because, I mean, we were dominating the ball for the majority of the game. But when called upon, most of the time he dealt with it really well. Ruben Diaz, 7 out of 10 for him. Josko Gvardiol, another player that's one... Oh, just smacked my microphone. One mistake from Josko Gvardiol has caused a goal. Again, he was the one who gave the ball away. He's trying to feed it through quite a tight channel. It was never on. Tried to pass it to Nathan Ake. He couldn't get that ball, Nathan Ake. It was never on. That then caused the chaos, and the dominoes started to fall after that, with mistakes appearing more and more after the Josko Gvardiol giveaway in that first half. Jeremy Doku jumped over an attempted tackle. You could argue Doku could go in a bit stronger there, but I mean, he was avoiding a leg breaker, really. He came flying in. The ball lands to Bruno Guimaraes, who whips it across to Ake, and the rest is history, and it was a goal. Other than that, though, I thought Josko Gvardiol had a pretty solid game, decent. In terms of going forward in the second half, I don't recall anything he did wrong in the second half. It's just that one moment in the first half that's proving to be costly. And these moments are always seemingly costly for Manchester City players right now, because they make the game look closer than it actually was. But we are being punished for mistakes. So what do? Cut them out. Stop making these mistakes, because they're too big, and the way we play is too open and expansive that you make mistakes in that area of the pitch, then you're going to be vulnerable going the other way. We've got to be careful. 90 minutes played, 66 touches, 88% passing accuracy, 2 tackles, 1 interception, 3 dribble attempts, 2 were completed, and he wasn't dribbled past once. 4 out of 6 ground duels won. So similar numbers to Kyle Walker, but I don't hear anyone saying a bad word about Josko Gvardiol, which is I think is harsh, because in particular because of Kyle Walker seems to be getting all the stick at the minute, and Josko Gvardiol seems to be immune to criticism from Manchester City fans. I understand why. He's a new player, he's very young, he's got an incredible future, but let's call a spade a spade. He's been making mistakes, but he's still got a huge future at Manchester City, and incredible promise. Looking forward to seeing what the future brings. Next season, we'll see the best of Josko Gvardiol. I'm convinced of that. Nathan Ake, really quiet game defensively. Not much to talk about, in truth. I remember in the second half, there was one moment that he read the game really well. There was a possible counter-attack that he prevented just by his positional awareness, was brilliant. Other than that, it was quiet for Nathan Ake. 90 minutes, 56 touches, 89% passing accuracy, no key passes, no interceptions, no clearances, no tackles. One aerial duel out of 3 was won, and no ground duels whatsoever to speak of, which is rare for a defender, in truth. 6.5 for Nathan Ake, not from a poor point of view, just from an anonymous point of view, not much to talk about. Rodri, on the other hand, plenty to talk about. Let's start with the negatives, because there's only one major negative from his game, and that's his ability to control his emotions. We need to keep them in check. He needs to be reminded of the fact that his importance to this team is unfounded. It's like we can't live without him. 50 games he achieved undefeated yesterday in a row. Undefeated with Rodri on the pitch. So if that doesn't indicate how important this figure is in our midfield, then I don't know what does. He needs to be aware of how good he is. He needs to understand how important the role he has in our success. And if we can't afford a suspension from Rodri, he can't be flailing his arms at the referee. He can't be squaring up to the referee. He can't be jumping around. At times he was just like jumping around like a man who'd lost the plot completely lost the plot. He's got to keep that in check emotionally. He's got to keep that in check. In terms of football, though, sensational. Absolutely brilliant from Rodri. What a midfield masterclass that was. 164 touches. Yesterday, he breached the 2,000 mark for number of touches in the Premier League season. He's not far away from getting 10% of those. That's about 8 or 9% of his total touches in the season in one game yesterday against Newcastle. Incredible amount of involvement in the game. Brilliant from Rodri. 93% passing accuracy as well. 3 key passes, 3 dribble attempts, all of which were successful. 2 interceptions, 6 out of 10 ground duels won. Really good. 14 times the ball was given away at Rodri's expense, and I mean, really good. And an assist as well for Rodri as well. The vision to poke that through Newcastle's midfield to find that space for Kevin De Bruyne. Brilliant from Rodri. 8.5 out of 10. Kovacic, he's just a little bit less than Rodri at the minute. In terms of his performance yesterday, head-to-head with Rodri, he was just a little bit not quite as good as Rodri, but not far behind at all. I thought he was really good. Solid as a rock. Kovacic, really good with possession as well. 97% passing accuracy. 105 touches to his name as well. 2 key passes, 2 clearances, 4 out of 7 ground duels won. 3 dribble attempts, 3 of which were successful, and he only lost the ball 7 times, which is half the amount of times as Rodri did. 8 out of 10 is all I can give him, because Rodri's the man who got himself an assist. He bags an assist in, and he'd be getting the 8.5 in truth. I thought he was really good, and I'm really pleased now that this looks to be our midfield partnership going forward. Kovacic and Rodri. I can't see Nunes being played in that many games alongside Rodri. Maybe against lesser teams, but for me, our best 2 midfielders now in those sitting roles that popping in and out, it's got to be Kovacic and Rodri for me, and it's an incredibly exciting prospect going forward. He was finding Foden in the first half so well. These little pockets of space that Phil Foden was finding. Brilliant from Phil Foden to find the space to begin with, but finding him between the tightest of channels, brilliant passing range from Kovacic as well. He had quite a few long ball attempts that's not on these graphics as well, and his vision, his range of passing was really, really good yesterday. So exciting times for Manchester City's midfield. 8 out of 10 for Kovacic. Phil Foden, I thought his positional awareness, his ball carrying ability was fantastic. It's just that end product he wasn't quite refined enough in his end product yesterday. You can see that with the shots there. 6 attempts, only 2 on target. those are the little details I'm talking about. There was a moment in the first half where he tried to square it to Alvarez. I'm screaming, shoot. That's the one opportunity where I thought he should have shot it rather than pass. But other than that, I felt like it was just the end product that was lacking. But the way he found the space in that midfield, there was this line of, and this big area behind Newcastle's midfield and in front of their defence that he was occupying that all game until Kevin De Bruyne came on, who showed him how to make use of that space in the second half. But he still was brilliant, Phil Foden. 90 minutes played, 80 touches, 94% passing accuracy, 4 key passes, really good and penetrative. 2 out of 6 shots on target, 4 out of 10 ground duels won, 2 out of 3 dribbles were successful, and he lost the ball 12 times. Good performance from Phil Foden, 7.5. Kevin De Bruyne. This is the first time. Look at him. Look at his little face. Look at him. Just want to give him a big squeeze, don't you? What a lovely man. What a lovely man Kevin De Bruyne is. Look at that. That's the first time I've done a graphic for him this season, which is exciting. Really, really exciting. 21 minutes played, and what a 21 minutes that was. 35 touches, 77% passing accuracy. You get used to that because that's Kevin De Bruyne. That's his style. High risk, but when it comes off, it rips you to pieces. It will destroy teams. The accuracy, the balls on this man, the cojones on Kevin De Bruyne to try the audacious time and time again, and the frequency in which he pulls off the audacious, the accuracy of still, because the balls that he's attempting, they're not 5-yard little square passes. These are the killer passes, and to still get 77% passing accuracy is really, really good. 3 key passes, 2 shots, one of which goes into that corner, and that's an indication of our afternoon against Newcastle. The clinical nature wasn't quite there for Manchester City yesterday, but I was screaming it in the watch along. Find the corners. We had so many shots that were savable for Dubravka, that inner third of the goal that he just had to drop to one side, didn't have to stretch for right in the corner, but this man, Kevin De Bruyne, he made him stretch, and he ain't big enough. There ain't a goalkeeper in the world that was saving that. It didn't need power, because that's just pure accuracy and precision. Just passes it into that corner with the most delightful technique you can imagine. I mean, sublime from Kevin De Bruyne. It really, really is. 3 key passes, 1 big chance created, and of course the assist to Oscar Bobb, which again, just the audacity to do it is just beautiful, just lofted to the pinpoint precision, right on the toe of Oscar Bobb. Sensational. Really, really is. Just puts a big smile on your face, doesn't it? It does if you're a City fan. It probably sheds a tear or two if you're Liverpool or Arsenal, but fuck them. Oh, Kevin De Bruyne. 9 out of 10 for Kevin De Bruyne. Brilliant performance. Bernardo Silva, man of the match, mind you, as well, by the way. Don't forget that. That's man of the match performance for such a small amount of time as well. Man of the match. Brilliant. Bernardo Silva, what a goal. That's the main headline from his game yesterday. Absolutely unbelievable goal from Bernardo Silva. I mean, just thinking about how many times have you gone and I've watched the game back fully now in the full 90 minutes. I've also watched the highlights about 6 or 7 times. It's so good. And I have to hold your hands up and go, I mean, even Newcastle's goal, they're worth watching again. Because as City fans that we win the game. So the highlight reels of 5 unbelievable goals. What a game it was. An unbelievable, so good. But it started off with this man. That finish was just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. A lot of his score has gone down to that goal. Just that individual moment of brilliance from Bernardo Silva. But 69 minutes played, 98 touches, 91% passing accuracy. No key passes. He won 1 out of 3 ground duels. He won a tackle, 2 shots on target out of the 3 that he took, and he lost the ball 11 times. 8 out of 10 for Bernardo Silva. Just that goal. Just creme de la creme. Unbelievable from Bernardo Silva. Jeremy Doku, on the other hand, I thought he had a decent first half. He was just anonymous in that second half. Really average performance from Jeremy Doku in that second half. Not much to really talk about. A little bit disappointing in truth. In particular in that second half, but the first half, the shining light coming out of Jeremy Doku's performance isn't actually the performance itself, it's the position he played, which was a surprise to me, because I was saying it in the match preview that I don't believe, and I was wrong to say this, I don't believe Jeremy Doku can be tucked inside. I always pictured him as an out-and-out winger, but the fact that Pep has enough faith in Jeremy Doku to allow him to tuck inside, which gave the freedom to Oscar Gvardiol to go forward into that outside channel, that's great news for City fans, which gives another feather in the cap for Jeremy Doku's game, that he can not only be trusted to play as a winger on the left or the right, he can now actually tuck inside and get out of the way, invert. And that's not an easy task. Pep Guardiola doesn't give that responsibility to just anybody. Do you know what I mean? He gives it to players that he trusts, and he clearly trusts Jeremy Doku. Can't forget his involvement in the first goal as well, from that exact position I'm talking about. He was tucked inside, he came in, he drove across parallel to the goalkeeper's goal line. He tucks inside and he sprays that ball out to Kyle Walker, who's crossing to Bernardo Silva. But that comes from Jeremy Doku's patience and vision to find Kyle Walker. That was a really good moment for Jeremy Doku. But what we signed him for is dribbling, and we didn't see that much from him. And what we did see from him wasn't that great. Trippier did quite well against him in one-on-one duels. He didn't get past him, as you can see. 4 dribble attempts, only 1 was successful, which is really low for Jeremy Doku's standards. He wasn't great with his passing accuracy either, 75%. 4 key passes though, that's decent. 3 shots on target, 3 shots, none on target. 12 ground duels, he only won 3 of them, and he gave the ball away 22 times. Not his greatest day. He'll bounce back, and he will have a moment where he'll be grabbing all the headlines, and his dribbles will come off. He'll be finding the back of the net, no doubt, in future games. Huge future for Jeremy Doku, but not his greatest day at the office yesterday against Newcastle. 6 out of 10. Julian Alvarez, not his greatest day in the office either, to be honest. There's that one moment I think everyone's immediately going to zone in on, was that miss from the penalty spot, which it came from the Kevin De Bruyne free kick, hits the wall. It causes chaos. The ball ends up coming out to, I think, Jeremy Doku, who whips it to Ruben Diaz, who nods it back across the goal. It bobbles around in the penalty area for a second or two. It lands very kindly to Julian Alvarez, who's just got to keep his shot down, get his shoulder, get his knee over the ball, keep that down, and he balloons it into Rose Ed, and it was a woeful finish from Julian Alvarez. And that's, you can see that with the big chance missed there. That was a huge opportunity. I wouldn't blame him if it hit the target but hit a defender in front of him, if it was a blocked shot or a keeper save, or even hitting the woodwork. In that situation, you can forgive him for that, but it wasn't close. You know, that was a big miss. And other than that, it was an average game from Julian Alvarez. 97% passing accuracy, though, is really good. His ball retention was decent. 4 key passes, that's decent as well. 3 shots on target from the 6 that he took. Not bad at all. That big chance, though, it could have proved costly. Thankfully, it didn't. But 3 ground duels, 1 of which was won, and he only lost the ball 8 times. 6.5. I'm erring on the side of harsh with that score, to be honest, but still, I felt like he could have offered a little bit more, Julian Alvarez. Oscar Bobb, the last man to speak about, and what a way to finish this video, because this guy, man, that touch was absolutely sensational. What a goal. The awareness, the speed of his feet, lightning quick footwork, brilliant. 8 minutes of football. And look at the numbers as well. It's not like, oh, that was it, the goal was the only thing to speak about. No, not at all. Not at all. 13 touches, 83% passing accuracy, 1 tackle, 1 shot on target, it was the only one he took, 2 dribbles, both completed, 4 ground duels, he won all of them, and he only lost the ball once. 8 out of 10 performance for Oscar Bobb. And what a guy this is. We've got a superstar on our hands here, and that was a sensational finish that won the game. What a moment for him. What a moment for his career. What a moment for Manchester City's season this could prove to be. The momentum that we should achieve from this game now is going to be monumental. It really is. I think this is a huge season-defining moment that I can't wait to see the fruit that it bears now, this result. Hopefully we can go in Spurs. I will be doing a watch-along on the 26th of January. Come and join me for that one. It's a little while away, so there's a bit of a gap between then and now, but still, I'm excited for the future now. Manchester City have got a player on their hands in Oscar Bobb. We've got a squad of players that I have a lot more trust in than I did 6-7 weeks ago. Unbelievable result that was yesterday. Blues, what do you think of the player ratings? Get your comments in the sections below. I do want to hear your player ratings. Any players that you think is a little bit harsh? Have I been a bit too generous to any players? What do you think? What's your opinions? Get your player ratings in below. I do really find them interesting to see the perspective of other City fans as well. So get in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. Like and subscribe. Typical City is the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is typical City now, holding up Silva.